college football insider Jeff Fuller, who doubles as a BYU fan. He keeps it out of his reporting. He's very unbiased, but does still have the love for the Cougars. I've getting a lot of comments today about the ROC and the roar of complaints, ROC, roar of complaints from BYU fans and about even fans who aren't a member necessarily of the higher priced donorship clubs, the Cougar Club, who want to keep their season tickets. The demand for tickets high at BYU right now because they're so good at football and basketball. The ability to get those tickets as a student is going to be a lot harder because the demand is so high, and Lavelle Edwards Stadium doesn't hold 100,000 people, and it can't keep up with the demand that's currently coming in. One of the biggest complaints that I've heard, students with a ROC pass are not guaranteed a ticket. They can't camp out anymore. It's not a first come, first serve. You kind of lose that tradition of camping out on Thursday or Friday night for a college football game Saturday. That tradition is gone. Or for spouses, which we know BYU students have spouses here or there. It's frequent, or at least more frequent on campus in Provo, that those spouses aren't necessarily included. You can't sit with your friends always. And donor, if you're not a big donor, maybe you don't have the same season tickets. What do you make of all this controversy? Is BYU doing the wrong thing by a bit, or is this just a nature of growing pains?
I mean, talk about first world problems. These are the problems we want to have as a program, right? You don't want to be talking about how do we get people to fill the seats? How do we, how do we get people there? How do we, give out tickets to businesses so that they can get people in for free, and et cetera, et cetera. There is a high demand for both football and basketball, men's basketball at BYU, even some smaller sports, like women's soccer, women's volleyball, men's volleyball at BYU. Those are, often standing room only in their arenas. So BYU has a great tradition of fans who care, fans who show up and support their team. And even when the team's not great, still pretty good attendance for basketball, football, and those other sports I mentioned. So, we've got loyal, strong, and true is sort of the tagline from the fight song. So yeah, first and foremost, this is a great program to have. I have a little different perspective about the season tickets issue because I'm not a season ticket holder. I live in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Despite all of what I just said about the SEC and how it's a shell game,
right?
I'm married to an Alabama fan. I am a closet Alabama fan. That's my number 2 team. There's almost never a conflict. Like I said, I live here in Tuscaloosa, and I've seen, I've lived here over a decade. I've seen firsthand how, major blue bloods, what they're dealing with, and how they're, how people wait a long time to get on these lists and have to donate a certain amount to have the opportunity to buy season tickets. I've lived in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, so I know LSU. I've lived in Iowa City, Iowa. Strong fan base there. So these, if you want to be an elite program and have a fan base that financially is supporting top level athletics, yeah, this is what we want to do. Now, yeah, there's going to be a lot of people who go through these growing pains. There's no question about that. Football, a lot of corporate donors have come in recently. The Silicon Slopes, there's just the economy in Utah along the Wasatch Front there is really boosted. And there's a lot of entrepreneurial, BYU graduates. It's sort of a thing. The business school is a world renowned and produces a lot of great entrepreneurs. So there are a lot of high level business people, and these people want the highest access, want the most tickets, want the most perks. But that's these mega donors are a small section, but they are allowed to buy, I believe, at least at the highest level of the Cougar Club, I think is, don't quote me on this, it's either 10 or 12 football tickets and either 8 or 10 basketball season tickets. So these are large allotments that they're allowed to buy. And even as you go down further in the hierarchy of the Cougar Club, the legacy levels, they're still allowed to buy pretty big allotments of tickets. I think, up to 6 tickets for, each person. And knowing AJ DeMance is in town for basketball, knowing this is, wow, BYU is going to be preseason, probably top 5 in basketball. But, we've never seen this. We have to be there. We have to be part of the show. There is huge demand, and there are entrepreneurs who, may not have 6 people that they have earmarked for those tickets, but they know they want to go to certain games, and they know that they can sell those other tickets on the secondary market, or give them to friends, and and make them even better friends. So these tickets are just, they just got scooped up. The basketball, they sold out the basketball arena, and as soon as the different levels opened up, they gave each level a certain amount of time to do their purchasing, but it didn't even get all the way through the Cougar Club to the lower 2 or 3 levels. Didn't even have an opportunity to buy season tickets there in the Marriott Center, which is the largest arena in the Big 12 and one of the largest in America. It's top 10 in size in America.
So do we just build a second arena? Do we, you had 30,000 when Tom Brady went and played in Tampa. I didn't know this till a couple months ago. They brought in these portable seats, portable bleachers to make the stadium bigger, to sell more tickets to watch Tom Brady in Tampa Bay. If you're BYU, do you break ground on adding seats to Lavelle Edwards? Do you try to do something different with? I mean, the Marriott Center is already massive. Is there a clean solution?
Yeah, and the same thing with Lavelle Edwards Stadium. They're both large, the largest football and basketball stadium and arena in the Big 12, and relatively among the largest in the Western U.S. But yeah, how do you still have the family man who wants to take his 3 kids to every home game, who is a regular blue collar guy who lives on the Wasatch Front and is just their family's always been BYU people? Are they priced out of this at this point? So this is the problem. You want to maximize revenue, you want to get in high level donors, and what's been the national trend? It hasn't been expanding stadiums. It's been downsizing and getting more premium seating, getting more of these luxury boxes, getting more of these these places where people feel special, with different access or a different view. So that, I don't know if that is necessarily a BYU thing, there's something about our school and maybe about our faith about people not being better than one another, about having this equity, equality among us is probably the better term. And has there been a little bit of a resistance by the school and by the administration to put in tons of premium seating because of that? I really don't know. I'm speculating there. But yeah, I don't know the solution. I think maybe, allow a smaller number, especially in the Marriott Center where, it has been downsized. It used to be close to 19,000, I think, and it's down to closer to 16,000 seats now. So they've put in more seat backs. They've, expanded the seat size in some areas. So, they've tried to make it a better in-game experience for the fans that are there, but I think they wish they had those extra 3,000 seats now that they used to have, 10 or 12 years ago.
Yeah. Jeff, that's the inside perspective of a BYU fan that I needed to understand all the comments that I'm getting and the reaction. And it's good. I mean, this is a good problem to have. It sucks that you have the problem, but then again, it means that the BYU population really wants to go to games, and that BYU is really good at the games themselves. And that is one thing that a lot of Big 12 schools envy. So if you're a BYU fan and didn't get season tickets, buy them to Baylor. Buy season tickets to Arizona State. Go find a secondary Big 12 school to root for and bump the numbers of the rest of the conference. Jeff, where can folks find you? You're always posting new information, new graphs, new studies and storylines that you're putting together. Where can folks find more of those?
Yeah, so mainly my Twitter is where I link to all those things, and post things all the time. Also, I'm a contributor at ESPN The Fan with a Ben Criddle show out in Utah. I'm a guest on there and put some of the articles that I write up on their website as well. And then I have started a Substack. Not that I think that everyone wants to come and read all my information, but it's more of just to keep it somewhere. Like some of the places I was posting before, we're changing their websites and re-updating. So I just wanted to have somewhere to just keep all the stuff that I'm putting out on its own format. So I do have a Substack, JJ Fuller 72, Jeff Fuller.
Love it. That is Jeff Fuller, college football insider. Thank you all for the beauty that this was. Thank you, Jeff, for the beauty that this was. And thank you all of you for digesting the world of college sports and analytics and how it negatively affects the Big 12 and impacts the Big 12 sometimes. This has been, and it always will be, Locked On. Thanks for making it your first listen every single day. Dose Grande.